hello. I am glad to be here. Sadly, this is the last stream for the next couple weeks, but I am here today, and we are going to finish our deck of cards. Now, I've been working on this for a couple hours now, actually off camera, before streaming, because I wanted to get some stuff done. Okay, now, I have these sketches laid out, and I finally settled on an idea for these last two cards that we're going to be doing today. So, this one I've had for a while. It's for the King card, and it is going to be like a stained glass type thing. Now, it isn't going to be as pretty as stained glass because we're just going to be using watercolor over white paint. But I mean, it works, you know? So, we're going to be doing kind of like a stained glass thing. I have the subjects, like the actual plant bits figured out, but I haven't done the background or figured out how I'm going to do the background, if any at all. I might just do like an edge bit to make it look like it's framed, because that could be pretty cool. But I sketched it out, and I'm so proud of myself. I did big sketches this time. It took almost an entire page. Now, for the Joker, no, not Joker, Jack, it's the Jack. For the Jack card, this was the one I was most unsure of. However, I had an idea a couple weeks back that I wrote down and then completely forgot about. But luckily I found where I had written it, because my idea, I researched it, and for each of them, they live in a different biome. So I decided to sketch out the little biome, see if that would work, and I feel like it is. Now, the words on these, I'm not entirely sure about, but for that, for the clover, they live mostly in meadows or grasslands, so I was thinking maybe at the bottom or something I could write it down and say, hey, that's that. Kind of like how I wrote the scientific names on the Queen card, because it was more of a field guide type look. Now, I was thinking of doing that, not sure about the words. I'll figure that out when I start sketching. But the clover lives in the meadow. The bleeding heart lives in a temperate forest. If I'm going to write the words for the bleeding heart and the mushroom, I have to specify, because there's the temperate forest, which is like pine trees, stuff. It's basically pine trees. It's like colder a little bit. And then deciduous forests are like the ones in North America where they have all 4 seasons, so they have the change of the leaves and such. I could do fall colors, maybe. Should signify that it's a deciduous forest, but I have to signify between the two, because otherwise, oh well, it's just a forest. And then again, the mosaic plant is the hardest one that I've had to do, because it is a water plant, so you have to look at it from above rather than front view, like I've been doing all of these. So I have to put it in fresh water, and my first thought of fresh water was a lake, but I didn't have anything other than the lake, so I added a waterfall, and I know that in real life that wouldn't be as nice, I guess, in certain places, because usually after a waterfall it flows into a river, and then it would be flowing water, and not any plants would be able to grow on there, because freshwater plants and such, they need standing water to sit and rest on, because why would you ever want to grow on running water? But that's the 2 ideas I have. Now, as I said, I was working on it for a couple hours before stream because I wanted to get stuff done. Now, I wasn't able to get everything I wanted done, but I was able to get most of it done. Okay, so I got the sketches, 10 out of 10. I am very proud of myself. And then I also got all of these cards completely done. Now, I had most of these done before. However, I went through and made sure that each card is completely good. Each of them have the border, each of them have the little numbers, each of them have a picture, which I think is the most important part. And all of them are completely ready to go. All of them are just fine and dandy, which means once we get these 2 cards done for the bleeding heart and mushroom, we will have half the deck complete. And I just think that's wild. Now, for these 2, I was able to sketch out all of the lines on where the paint needs to go for the borders and numbers and stuff. I was able to sketch it out. However, I was not able to get paint on it because I didn't start early enough. Even though I spent a couple hours, it's a very tedious process going over each and every card, drawing lines on it, and then going back in with a paint marker and then adding the paint on, because I found that this was the best way, because otherwise I got not very straight lines. And so I went in with a ruler, did it along the outside, added the numbers and stuff, and then I go in with the paint marker that I have and I go over the lines so that it's a straight line, because the paint marker I have is kind of icky, but it's the best one that I have because I have tried like 5 different ones in order to get this project to work, and only that one has worked. So, again, I'm very happy because all of these are completely done and I have the sketches, so we can basically jump right in after my 5 minutes of explaining, you know. So I have these 8 cards. I do have one extra, which I'm thinking of doing a jester. However, I wasn't able to sketch that out. So maybe if we get done with all these cards in time, we'll start on that. But I am hoping to completely get the deck done today. Okay? If I do this correctly, we'll get the entire deck done. Because next week I will not be able to stream, sadly. So, yay for another impromptu break. Sorry about that, but it's inevitable, so I'm gonna have to take a break after this. But luckily, the planning worked out. So I think I want to start with sketching all of these, because for the Jack, Queen, and King, I am doing them all in different mediums. So for the Jack, I am doing colored pencils, because that is usually easier to work with for environments. And then for the King, I'm doing watercolor to make it look slightly more stained glass, pastel, you know, not as vibrant as the other ones, because the markers have a very vibrant look, and that's what I use for the rest of the deck. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start and work left from right and do all of these 4 first and then do these ones. So I think for the clover, I got them mixed up when I was sketching, so I thought the clover was the mushroom, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna put a log in there. And then I'm like, wait, that's a clover, not a mushroom. But I still kept the log because I thought it was kind of cute. It was more of like a standing up log of sorts. So it was just kind of like up there leaning like a tree was growing, and then it got chopped down and someone forgot to remove the stump, you know. And then I added in the clovers. And then I added in grass and like a sun because I didn't have much for at the top. But I'm just doing the sketch, and I'm not adding as much detail in as these because these are very messy. And also I want this to have a nicer polished look. So we have that one. A little bit of empty space, but I think it's going to be fine. I mean, I think I do want to add the words in. I think it would just help clarify things a little bit, you know? Like, all of the others are pretty straightforward. Like, I mean, I added the scientific names on the queen for just kind of fun, because I think scientific names for plants are just beautiful, because they're so weird and, like, so many extra letters that you don't really need in there, but they're fun. So I I erased that, and I think I'm going to say meadow, and I'm just going to do it in, like, small uppercase letters because that's the easiest. And then I can start above that, and then I can redo the drawing. Which, I mean, honestly, so glad that I did these sketches beforehand, because it lets me get a feel for what I'm actually drawing. And also lets me realize where the mistakes are, and then lets me fix them in the final bit. So that's how that card's gonna look. But we're gonna do it in colored pencils, so hopefully it looks a bit nicer. And I'm going to hope and pray that colored pencil works well on paint, because I didn't actually try that. So maybe I'll try it on my test piece and we'll see how that goes and go from there. But for now, we're gonna do our bleeding heart. Now for this one, I need room on the top and the bottom, and I also need to remember to write in capital letters. Because whenever I try to do like any sort of words and such, it either comes really easy to me, or I have to like actually focus. And today is just one of those days where I have to actually focus. Because this is not how I usually write. I actually I know someone who writes in all caps, and it's very interesting to look at because like it's just not how I would write, but it does make sense, so I guess it works for them. So for this, I'm going to add in a tree, and then I'm going to just add in some leaves, or some pine needles, I guess. I'm going to keep it very basic. Or at least I'm going to try to keep it basic, you know. Because basic ends up being easier. That's kind of what I was going for with the stained glass. Because if you're going to be doing a bunch of different glass pieces, you can't have it be too detailed. And so I kind of tried to make it more simple and geometric, which was really hard for the mosaic plant, because even though it's like symmetrical and all geometric and nice, it was also very difficult to not have all of the details in it, because that plant only really makes sense when you have everything, which kind of sucked because I kind of just have leaves here. But I mean, here we are. I made it work. So for how bleeding hearts grow is they usually grow in bushes, but that's very hard to do, especially in a simplified state. So I'm probably gonna do like little bush parts, and then I'm gonna have just like little hearts hanging off of it because I think that's cute. And so we have that, which I think is quite nice. I'm probably also gonna do like a pine cone on one of the branches, or both of the branches, because I think the pine cones just, it makes it more immersive. So we have that. Now we get to move on to the mushroom, which I mean I think is by far has been my favorite to draw, just because there's a good amount of detail and simplification. It's very nice. But I mean, bleeding heart is a close second, so. Okay, yeah. For some reason, while I was writing this, like, you can see in the sketch, I just had such a hard time trying to spell it and write it in caps. Like, all of the others turned out at least reasonable, and then Deciduous, it didn't work. It didn't work. Like, the E's and the I's are, like, at different levels, and it's like, hey, bud, are you okay? And now I have to do it again, so we'll see how it works this time. It's gonna have to be a bit nicer, because this is the actual card. This is why I do thumbnail sketches in all reality. It's just so that I can get my writing correct. And I'm gonna trust that I spelled everything correctly on all 3 versions of when I have wrote these words. But here I am. Okay. Log time. I always get worried because, I don't know, it's a log. I don't know how they work. But here is the log. And I'm gonna have some mushrooms on top of the log. I'm gonna do some eyes, like you know how like the knots in the wood work. Oh my gosh, there is this one tree that I used to walk past. Like I used to take like walks and stuff, just like around the neighborhood where I used to live. And there was this one tree. Okay, it's a birch tree. Now there isn't many birch trees around, so I haven't actually like seen them, you know. And this is the first birch tree that I have like actively been around and noticed. And I think the main reason that I noticed it is because, well, I was a bit younger at the time, and I got really spooked because I looked over at this tree, and all of the knots in the wood that are, you know, significant on birch trees, they all look like eyes. And I am not joking when I say this, but wherever you go, they are looking at you. This tree is a living optical illusion. And every time I would walk past that tree, I would get just a little bit spooked because I knew that all of those knots in the wood were staring at me. No, again, I was a little bit younger at the time, so that didn't help. But like, that birch trees, I love them, but not enough to not get spooked. And so here we have the Deciduous Forest. I mean, the leaves aren't that good. I need to add some branches, actually. But, I mean, here we are. Oh, Jesus. Okay, do you ever, like, have to sneeze and then you can't sneeze? Yeah, that was me just then. So, here we are. The no sneezing land. But, now we have to do the hard one, which is it's gonna be freshwater, because, oh man, can I not draw water? This is gonna be an interesting, just interesting to draw. But, luckily the word fit at the top. I'll probably do some better lettering when I go in with the pen, or whatever I use. Because I think I'll do, like, a gel pen, maybe in the color, so I'll do, the red for the mushroom and the bleeding heart, and then the green for the clover and the mosaic plant. I feel like whenever I'm saying all of the names, my brain just, like, buffers a little bit, so it says one name, and then it buffers, and then it thinks of the other, and then I can say it. But, like, I never actually, like, have them all in my brain at the same time. It's like I have to, like, pick one up, put it down, and then pick another up. That's just how my brain has been working. So we're gonna do a soft little box, because it's water. And then we're gonna, like, filter it in, and then we're gonna give space for bubbles, because, I don't know, bubbles. I know the word is not bubbles, but I cannot think of the word for that, like, foamy mist that's at the bottom of a waterfall, unless it is literally just foamy mist, in which case, whoa, I found it. Except I didn't realize it. Vegetation, rocks. just rocks. And I think that should be fine. Oh, wait, nope, forgot the plant, which is what this deck is about anyway. And I think I'm just gonna do something kind of like that, so a couple little patches, because man, do I not have the time to get detailed in this. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna erase that. I'm gonna erase the word. I'm gonna erase it, and I'm going to try doing it again, because I'm not very happy with it, and I also think that I could make it better now, because I have more room. So, I think that'll work. I think that'll work quite great. See? Very nice. A bit more centered as well. And I like my little bubbly water. Okay, so we have all of these. I'm gonna go through and quickly add the J's in, because I need to add those in the corners. We'll go through and add lines and paint to all of these very last, so that I can just have the complete half of the deck. And then and then we'll probably go through and do all of the clovers and the mosaic plants if we have the time, which I think we will. I mean, I'm already done sketching. So, on these, I think what I want to do is I want to add a frame. because I'm not going to be able to fill the whole card in, but I want it to look fancy, you know? So what I'm going to do is I am probably going to do a little bit of watercolor just around the edges, like within that, just the edges here, and then I'm going to go in with a pen and add an actual like frame, and I'm actually going to make it kind of like a wood frame, so I'm going to add the little divots right there to make it look more fancy. And then I think I'll just start with the mushroom because it's first. No, I'm starting with clover because it's easy. So we're gonna have the little circle, and then we're just going to do that where there's the drawing in the middle, and then there's the frame, which should look nice. So kind of like that. Ooh. Oh, I haven't actually written their common names on anything. I wonder if specifically because I have extra room at the bottom here, I might not with the bleeding heart, because I kept running out of space because I did the heart bit too big on both of my sketches. That was an issue. But I wonder if I wrote the common name down here, if that would work, because I wrote I wrote their biome, and then I wrote their scientific name, and then I wrote their standard name, I guess. I think that could work. And we can just do in normal font. Yeah, I think that works quite well. Maybe we could do maybe we could make it look like there's like a paper in there or a label. So kind of like that. And then I can add like some yellow to it to make it look kind of older. I like that. I mean, I'll probably make it a little bit smaller when I write it on with pen, but I'm liking that. It makes me happy. We're gonna scooch those up. Actually, wait, I can just layer these. So I'm gonna put that up there, and then we're gonna do, I think I'll just do the frame on these really quick so that I can focus. Honestly, I'm quite happy with the way that most of these cards have turned out. I mean, there's a couple that I don't like, mostly because of how the first paint went on. Because near the end of when I was doing like the last like 15 cards or so, the thing that I was using to get the paint in a square started really messing up, but I was near the end, so I didn't want to make a new one just for that, and also I did not have anything to like make a new one with, so I just kind of kept going, which didn't turn out well for a few cards. I actually took out one of my worst cards and used it for testing. Like, you can see all of the edges here, like, just a little bit smeared. And it kind of sucks. But, I mean, I took out one of my worst ones. There's a couple in here that I really don't like. I mean, like this one, you can see a couple obvious little spots at the top and bottom. But, I mean, what can you do about it? Here I am. And we are doing things. But, like, overall, I think I'm happy with how these cards have turned out. They're kind of nice. And I actually have, like, a box. It isn't, like, a card box, but I have a box that I, like, as a kid, I kept Pokemon cards in. And so I'll probably, like, relocate those Pokemon cards because it's a really nice box. And I'll just, like, put these in it because I made these. And also, happy... Because, like, oh my gosh, that box, I remember it, like, I got it as, like, a present or something when I was, like, collecting Pokemon cards, and my parents are like, oh, hey, here's this, and I'm like, this is beautiful, and then I used it to store my Pokemon cards with a My Little Pony derpy sleeve on them, There's a pony in My Little Pony that I really liked. And she only came up in like 2 episodes, but I latched onto her. And her name was Derpy, and she flew into windows, and I'm like, this is my pony. It wasn't any of the others. It couldn't be like Rainbow Jack. Applejack, Rainbow Dash. It couldn't be any of the other sophisticated ponies. No, I want the one that flew into the window. You can see what my personality is like just by that one decision as a child. I feel like that sums me up pretty well. Okay, so I have these 3. Now, Clover, I think, is the only one that actually fits in these, but I might be able to size down some. Okay, I was able to fit Mushroom, so that's there. Now we need Mosaic Plant and Bleeding Heart. That would be an issue. However, that's my thinking noise. So if I just, like, try writing it. Maybe that'll work? Okay, Bleeding Heart worked. That's fine. Okay, now we need Mosaic Plant. Now, how do I spell mosaic? I know I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, now I think this is gonna work. Yeah, Clover is definitely gonna need to get sized down a little bit to fit in with the other ones, but here we are. I think I'll just get Mosaic Plant done because, oh man, do I not like doing this one. So I think I'm just gonna go boop. Because this one, there's just so many tiny little lines. And I don't like it, you know? But also, with all of the extra little leaves that come off of it. Oh geez, it's a mess. I often lose track of which ones I've done and which ones I haven't done because they just get lost. I'm like doing one and then I'm like, wait, did I finish this other one? And then I go check and it's like, okay, cool, I did finish it. And then I go back and I'm like, where was I? So that's a whole mess that I'm in while doing this. I've kind of solved it by just going around in a circle and trying not to miss anything, but I think there have been a couple cards where I've missed something, specifically in the larger amounts where I did like 10. But then again, like, that's easily solvable by counting. I think it was just the queen that I was having difficulty with, because that one, it was just randomness, because that's how the actual plant is, and I wanted it to look like a field guide. But we have that. I guess these are just kind of framed pictures now at this point, but there we have the mosaic plant. So we'll do that, but I think we'll do Bleeding Heart next because I've been having difficulty with that one. And we're going to work from bottom up this time to see if that solves anything. Because hopefully, if I am right in this assumption, it just makes it easier. It's just, okay, so I have a fun topic, or at least what I think is considered fun. Now, I have noticed that I really love to play or do things that require a lot of management, okay? Now, this might seem boring, however, it makes me so happy, because when there is a game of relation that is easy and straightforward, and you can just get something done, it makes me happy. Now, I may be able to turn this into a future career, which is why I keep thinking about it. However, I am here today to talk about just management things in general, because they make me happy. And like in specific, I this made me think of it because there's a lot of lines that depend on other lines. You know, like in order to know where a line needs to stop, you need to have another line that it would like bump into or whatever. So like that's how it's just how they connect. So when you're on like it's like untangling something that's all bunched up. You like start at one place and you go, okay, to get this you need to do this, and then you like work from there, and then eventually you get it all untangled and you're like, this was great, this is a great time. So that's what I enjoy doing, and I think that's why I enjoy art so much. There was actually, wait, I'm gonna show this because it makes me happy, but also I finished the bleeding heart. And then we'll do the mushroom real quick. But while I'm talking about it, yesterday I was okay, actually wait, we'll do the mushroom and I'll keep talking and then I'll show. Because I have just too much to talk about. So there was a bit in my life like a couple months ago before I started streaming where I just forgot to pick up a pencil, which is definitely not a good thing because I enjoy drawing like quite a bit, and it helps me de-stress, all that stuff, which is partially why, because I started this because it helped me, and it has helped me. It's been great. And so I decided within the past couple days, because I've had a break from classes, that I'm gonna start trying to fill up my sketchbooks, because I have 2 that are like 90% filled up, and I want to finish those like that last 10%. So I'm like, okay, well, the best way to do that is just draw every day. So that's kind of what I've been doing over the past couple days. Now, it hasn't been long, so it's only been like a couple pages worth, but I've been just filling up a page of stuff that I've just drawn. And usually I have like this sort of block where I'm like, I don't know what to draw, and then like someone gives me an idea, I'm like, that's like either too difficult or some other excuse, you know. But I follow this amazing guy on YouTube, and he mostly posts shorts, and I think he also posts them on TikTok, but I use YouTube more. And he's just amazing. I genuinely love the guy. And he had this bit where he's like, hey, just draw every day. This is your reminder. And he's like, draw from life. Draw like cartoons and stuff. Like, just draw. Pick up a pencil. Fill up a sketchbook. You'll be happier for it. And I'm like, wait, I should do that. So I decided I'm gonna do that. And so that's what I did. I decided that I was going to like try and fill up a page every day. Now today was a bit different because I had to do all of this, which I guess counts as a page. I filled it up. I'm just gonna do 2 more little things when I'm done, or I guess just 1 more if I'm gonna start sketching the Joker. If I'm gonna start sketching the Joker after this, I might just start that. But like, he genuinely inspired me, and I don't say that very often, it's kind of nice, because he genuinely did, and he's an awesome guy. I don't remember his name right now, but maybe I'll pull him up in a second. But he does beautiful art, and he does little things, like little shorts, and he says like, oh yeah, here's everything that I know about watercolor, and like other things like that. And so I decided to start filling up a page in my sketchbooks every day. So I'm kind of doing that. And yesterday, I decided I want to draw a really, like, a vintage car, you know? Like, one of those old ones where they have beautiful, beautiful design and, like, a bunch of different parts, and just everything's going on with that car. But also, mushroom. I had to redo it, but mushroom. And so I decided to draw a car. Now, it took me a good hour just because of it was a game of relations. So I looked at this car and went, where should I start? Now, this is the car that I drew, okay? I think it ended up pretty well. There's a couple spots like the seats that I would prefer changing, but you know what? It's just a sketch to fill up a sketchbook, you know? Help me practice. And so this is what I did, and it was a big game of relations. So I started like with the proportions. Now I scooched it over a bit too much, but whatever. And then I started with the windshield. So I'm like, okay, the windshield needs to go at like that slant. And then I did the shape of it, and I'm like, okay, then the car goes out that much that way, and I did that with one headlight, and then I went, okay, it needs to go down. And so it's all a big game of relations, and it makes me feel kind of fulfilled. And eventually I got to all of it. It just took me an hour. And then I also did like other little sketches and stuff. But there's the car I drew. Now it is heavily based off of the reference, which is definitely something that I need to work on, but because I was just practicing and relaxing with my drawing, it was really nice, because I found that when I try to think too much and stray from the reference, which is good and I need to do, it stresses me out to the point where I can't enjoy it anymore sometimes. And so that for the car, I decided, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna relax, I'm going to draw it, and we're gonna see what happens. And so like all of these details are like very, very in depth. Like even that little thing right there, it has, I think, the Chevron logo on it. And so I drew that little thing, and it's like hardly visible. Like you can't see it on here, but I can see it, and it's like just itty bitty. But yeah, like I've just been doing that stuff. So I did like that page, and then I did another page the other day, and now this one today, which is for the deck of cards. But we have completed these ones. Okay, now I think I'm just gonna go put the K on all of these corners real quick, and then we'll get to, I think we're gonna do the watercolor first, just because that's what I'm more confident in. And then we can do, actually, wait, no, I need to check that that colored pencils actually work on this thing. So we're gonna pull out the colored pencils, and we're gonna test them and make sure that it works. So I'm gonna I think I'll just grab a green, and then grab a white colored pencil. Fun fact, I have like 3 of these that I just took from a class one time, and nobody called me out from it. I just like had them out in a pocket, and they're like, okay, cool, that's fine, whatever. And so I just kind of like took 3 colored pencils for free, which should last me a while. It was kind of nice. But we're gonna hope that looks fine. Okay, now I'm gonna blend. We're gonna grab, I don't know, an orange. We're gonna see how that works, because this is actually a great orange that I use. It's just pretty. Okay, and then hopefully with the white, we can just go whoop. Oh yeah, that's nice. I mean, it does take a lot of it off, but it's nice and like muted, you know. It's kind of like both. So we can use that for the environments, and then we'll use the watercolor, because the watercolor it's like a nice feeling compared, like that little bit right there. I actually just did like different amounts of like the ink and stuff in different areas, and it blended really well, and it makes me happy. I want to get really good at watercolor one day, because it genuinely, I look at it and I go, this is the most amazing thing I've seen. Like, it's by far my favorite medium to look at, and that is why I love watercolor tattoos, because they're just beautiful, and it's replicating watercolor with something that isn't watercolor, which it blows my mind, and I want to be able to do that someday. With watercolor, and also with tattoo stuff, because I think that would be really interesting. And also, I imagine being able to see something that I have designed and that I have done myself on my skin, and just see it every day. Like, wake up and see that, and I go, it makes me so happy. It just fills my heart with joy, and that's all I want in life, really, is I just want to like have those little feelings where I'm like, oh my gosh, I made that. And I mean, even if these cards aren't the best cards in the world, I don't really care, because I made them, you know? Like, I don't give a crap if they're good looking or not at this point, but I put my pencil down onto paper, and I did that. Anyway, rant over for now. We're gonna draw things, because that's what this is about. To finishing this, and if I start talking too much, I'm not gonna finish. Because I need to finish this week, because I can't next week. Yay for summer classes, am I right? Just sucks. But I'm going to do a little, like, test itty-bitty piece, and that's gonna end up being the sun. So I'm just gonna grab my brightest yellow. We're gonna hope that that's fine, and then we'll outline it with some other color, and we'll hope that it's fine. Because I know that the pencil lead does not fully come off, and you can see it through yellow in lighter colors. It sucks, but I mean, here we are, so. I mean, I guess it just kind of gives it a definition, I guess. Because, I mean, it's fine. But that's the sun. I think it works. I think it's, like, soft and nice and muted and good for the jack. I'm glad that I remembered that I had that idea. I was looking back at my notes and I'm like, I don't know what to do for the jack, and then I found this glorious note, and it has like measurements and stuff on it, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, it was this one? Yeah, it said habitats, and then I'm like, wait a minute, and then I wrote them all down, and I was like, oh, I found them. I found the Holy Grail. So I think for this one, I'm gonna do the log first, because it's sweet and is a log. Because actually, I should be calling it a stump, because it is a stump. But it is very fun and very sweet, and it's a good lad. It's a good lad and keeps our clovers company. And I'm struggling. I have to have so much space for my colored pencils, which is why I often don't use them. But, I mean, it's fine. Here we are, I guess. So I think for the log, I'm gonna do this color as a base, and then we're gonna add darker colors and we're gonna blend it. So, ooh, I'm liking this. This makes me very happy. The way that I thought that it would be, like, kind of grainy, because, like, the paint, you know, like, adding things on top of paint that isn't paint is not usually the best idea, at least from what I have learned, and I'm just, yeah. And so I don't do that, but I guess this is just something new, pushing myself, you know? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. We're gonna hope that this lightens it up a little bit. Oh my gosh, it did. Need an eraser. You're my savior. Again, these things are amazing. They have saved me so much time. It's really nice. Like, they bring me joy. Huh, interesting. So you can't actually, like, a lot of the lead itself is kind of lost when you try to put multiple colors over each other, because it can only handle so much. And so here I am. But I think that's good enough. It looks like a boot. It's just a boot. Maybe, you know what, it could be a boot. If I wanted it to be, it could be a boot. But I think I like the stump. Oh, jeez. So I think we're gonna go with lighter color for clovers, and then we'll add color on top. I think that works. Other than the fact that I need to sharpen this, and I'm so glad I've had my sharpener on my desk, because I kind of forgot to check. Okay, that works fine. Okay. I love this Prismacolor set. I got it like so long ago, and I do not treat them correctly, and I need to figure out how to treat them correctly, because otherwise it's just gonna dissolve into madness, and suddenly I'm not gonna have Prismacolors anymore, you know? But like, I've been very tempted to like try other ways of sharpening, because That sharpener right there is the best one I have, and yet I have lost so much lead to it because it just kept breaking. So I've been tempted to try learning how to sharpen things with like an X-Acto knife. I've been tempted because I've heard that it could be better and doesn't break the lead as much, but maybe that's just a thing where I've like accidentally dropped the tin or something and it broke some of the lead inside. I've heard that that can happen as well, which kind of sucks. Maybe I just need to be a little bit nicer to these, but they've served me well. So honestly, if they decide to quit on me anytime soon, I'm gonna be like, that is completely fine, buddy. Thank you for being with me. You know? Just good lads. Good lads. So I think I'm just gonna do this one. I need to sharpen. Uh-oh. Every time I sharpen, like, seriously, this is it's one of those, which I think they're a pretty good brand, so it's like a good sharpener, but I also think it's getting dull, which does not help, because if it's dull, then you can't sharpen it. So I think, well, that's interesting. Okay, well, I'm liking the log, so we're here. And you know what? I think that's pretty good. I am gonna give it like a slight dust of blue, because luckily it goes on like pretty nicely. Like, I genuinely thought it would be a little bit more grainier, which, I mean, it is a little bit when you're doing it this light, but it's fine. I'll go back in with a little bit of white and see, because I just want it to be like a picture, you know, not just little things thrown onto it. So I really want to learn how to do better environments, because right now I only know how to do subjects, and like if the subject is a landscape, I can do it, but like when I'm putting a subject and then like I want an environment behind it, I suck at that. Like, I am not good at it. Like, when I was doing my owl on stream, I was like, I don't think this looks like a realistic environment. I just think this looks pretty bad. I mean, I think it ended up pretty fine, at least from what I could see. I think that's going to be one of those pieces that I look at later in life and go, that wasn't my best work, but I could see what I was going for. I think most of the stuff that I'm doing right now is going to end up like that, though. So I'm honestly fine with it. I'm just here for the journey. So I think I'm going to get my green markers out, even though I'm not grabbing a marker, I'm grabbing a gel pen. So I think I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to do the words in it, because that's all nice. And then it'll also match the letter, because I've been doing the letter in a color, like over here, because that signifies what color it is. Because in an actual deck of cards, it's red and black, but I didn't like black and decided to do green instead, and then I mixed up the shapes and stuff. So it's like all wonky, but it's fine. We're here. So I think that's gonna be the meadow done. It isn't like the best thing. I think it's a bit too like yellowy green, but you know what? I think yeah, actually no, it's too yellowy green. So I'm going to actually just go in with a darker green and then do the outlining in another darker green, because I don't want it to be yellow, I want it to be green and blue. Actually, how do I always end up doing analogous color schemes? Looking at this, it's like, oh yeah, green, blue, and yellow. Cool. I mean, granted, we aren't even getting into hereditary colors, or tertiary. I always say it wrong. I always say it like hereditary, but with a T at the front, because that's how my brain interpreted it the first time I read it. And now it's always stayed that way. So here I am, saying tertiary like hereditary. That's definitely not the correct way to say it, and I keep messing up, and it's like, hey brain, can you stop? Oh jeez. But here we have the Meadow card. And you know what? We're just gonna slap that on the bottom, and it's gonna be fine. Now I think I'm just gonna work my way across. So we'll do the temperate now. This one is red. We need the red gel pen. Oop. Okay. And this one. Okay. We're gonna do that not first. We're gonna do that last, because whenever I do gel pen first, it always smears. We're gonna hope that the pencil lead lifts. Doll. I would love, there's so many things that I want to do, and I really hope that I get the chance to do them in classes, because on one hand I want to experiment with my own style, and on the other hand I really want to get good at realism, you know, just like, I think both are equally neat in their own ways, and I want to get good at both. However, digital art is a journey of its own, and I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can mentally handle that. I'm gonna try, but it isn't something that I'm gonna be doing on stream, because that's a problem of every 10 minutes I'm gonna cry. Like how traditional art was for me at the start. So, I mean, two entirely different tools, and I don't know how to use it, but, I really hope that I get the chance to do more different types of things, because, like, I have all these, like, fun ideas and stuff, and I would love to do them. I was actually looking at all of the, like, the winning things, the winning entries from the owl contest that I entered into. I was not one of them, it's fine. But I was looking at all the winning entries, and I'm like, dang it, those are really pretty. And I want to do something like that. And I think the first place for the category I entered in, it was based on, like, age groups or whatever. It was kind of dumb, but I mean, I guess it was fine, because there was, like, itty-bitty kids and also more advanced people. And so there I was looking at the winning stuff in my group, and it was a beautiful black and white photo with just a little bit of yellow. And I say photo because it looked photorealistic, because it was just that pretty. And it was like a close-up shot of the owl. And, like, I get that. I did not do a close-up shot of the owl. I was tempted to, but also I wanted to do something more interesting. Because, like, doing a close-up shot of whatever the subject is about is a safe bet. So, like, it's usually what people want. So, like, if you're gonna play the game of the competitions, then, like, best to do a close-up. However, I wanted to try something new, so I didn't do a close-up, and I mean, I didn't win, so whatever. Obviously, my game plan needs a little bit of tweaking, but I mean, honestly, just looking at some of those entries, they were so pretty. Like, they were so pretty. And I'm like, wait a minute, I want to do that. And so, I've got to work towards that now. But yeah, I want to do, like, more stuff in black and white, because I don't usually do that. Like, the most black and white I get is just pencil sketches, which, I mean, is a completely valid medium of its own, but, like, I don't do, like, straight up drawings with it, you know? I mean, I did a really pretty face the other day. Like, I've been trying to get my style to be, like, semi-realistic, but easier, because realism is hard. And so I want correct proportions and correct, like, features and such. So, like, ears, like, at, like, the, you know, eyes and then ears You know, like, I want them to be proportionate to each other and, like, you know, good. But, like, I'm not sure how to do that, so I'm still figuring it out. Okay, I'm liking this so far. I put a bush in front of a tree, and it's working out fine. It's just taking a bit. Okay, so I think my lesson is I need to do the tree first. But yeah, there's so much I want to do, and I'm kind of scared in a way because I am going to take classes in a new place and I don't know any of the instructors. And oh man, am I a little bit spooked because there's just A, new place, spooky, and B, I know that a lot of teachers are very bent on only traditional and only realism, and I don't want to get stuck in that. Like, I know that a lot of people can get stuck in that, and it's really hard, because you can get stuck in it really easy, especially when that's the only thing that teachers are teaching. This does not look like a pine tree. I got distracted. It's okay. We can fix this, I think. But, like, I know that a lot of people and a lot of teachers can get stuck in the realism only sense, and it really sucks because there's a lot of other things that also work, like cartoon styles. They work just as well. And I just don't want to get stuck in it, because I was kind of stuck in it when I was itty bitty. Like, itty bitty kid, I never wanted to draw cartoons because I sucked at it. I sucked at it as much as anything, but I never wanted to draw cartoons. I always wanted to draw realism because it was something to work towards, you know? However, cartoon style, that also means that I did miss out on a lot of training needed to do cartoon styling. Because I also did not have an anime phase, and so I did not get that either. Which, I mean, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But I did not have that, and I didn't have the cartoon. I only had the realism, and so I always wanted to be good at realistic. And when I got that, I was like, okay, well, this is kind of boring. And I mean, now I'm kind of rediscovering it, because the goal, what it used to be, was to look like what I was drawing. Now the goal is more to, how can I shape what I am drawing into something my own? So I know how to make it look realistic, in a way. Humans are still hard. And plants. Doing things is hard still, but I'm learning. But I am now learning to take what I have learned on how to make it look realistic and turn it into something of my own, which I'm hoping to do in the classes I take in the future. But I also don't want to do only that. I mean, obviously, this entire project, it isn't realistic. The only realistic thing I have done has been my queen cards, and that was more of a, just like a sketchy sort of feel, and also it's still small and I can't put many details into it with the mediums I'm using. However, I know that a lot of people can get stuck in just realism, and it sucks, because there's so much more to explore out there, and I want to be able to do that, and I don't want my teachers or instructors at all to confine me to just one thing, because I want to explore. And I mean, I think it's for a valid reason too, because of come on, I just want to do things. So I hope that I get some good instructors in my my next batch of classes this following fall semester. I really hope that I get some good people, so that I can actually take some good classes. Sadly, if I had the choice, I would be just taking art classes. But I do not have that choice. I have to take others as well. I'm so glad that you are here, Rafaela. I have sketched out things, and I have just completed. Or no, actually, wait. I need to. I need to do red. red for lettering. But after that, I have completed this card. Which, honestly, yeah, I'm liking these cards so far. I just had a very passionate rant for like the past 10 minutes on how I just art. You know, that's what I do here. It's art. So I had a passionate rant about art. I got very lost there for a moment, so glad you came in and snapped me back into existence, because I was just kind of off in my own world. And I need to get these cards done today, and I only have an hour to do it, so luckily I have all of them sketched out, and I have a plan, which is the most important part, and I have 2 actually done. So here we are. We have the Temperate Forest, which is for the bleeding heart, kind of like pine needles and stuff. Not the best I've done. I got distracted while doing the leaves, and so then it didn't look very good. Again, I was very passionate about what I was talking about. But now we're gonna do the mushroom. Hopefully this one's a bit easier, because the tree is not the focus. Yes, thank you. I also think it is quite cute. So I think, yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna whoop, 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 whoop. Pray and hope that my kneaded eraser is gonna be fine after this. I think I might need to wash it. Fun fact, you can wash kneaded erasers with like soap and warm water and stuff. Just like get warm water in a bowl and then go whoop and like do that for like 5 minutes until it's clean. It was nice. I still need to do it. Like I have like 5 different erasers that need to be cleaned, and I've just been putting it off. So I'm gonna erase all this and then I can start. And I think I'm just gonna work on the log for now, and then I will do the trees in the background, because hopefully that works fine. So, mushrooms. They're so itty bitty, I love them. It's kind of fun to use the different mediums, because colored pencils, I mean, they'll break on you, but they won't dry out on you, you know? Because they're already super dry. You don't need to keep the ink good. Because that's the problem I was having with all the markers. So I think I'm gonna do like this color. This really, really neutral color at the start, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of like a yellowish brown. I guess I think it's just like an orange. Actually, I don't like that, so we're gonna go in with, hopefully that works fine. Okay, I'm liking that. So there we have our little mushrooms. Super itty bitty. We're gonna put them on a log. And I think that log is going to be this color. Or at least for now. Okay, this is great. This is making me happy. I just gotta avoid the mushrooms, because they keep accidentally scribbling over the stems. Which is an issue. And then hopefully I can add the darker color and then add the edges. Because that's what I have going for me right now, is the darker color actually gives it details. Actually makes it be able to look at it. I think this is fine. I mean, we'll probably blend that a little bit, but fun times. It's really interesting trying to draw on paint because half the stuff gets lost. Half the color is just lost when you try to blend it. It's just like, oh, you're not blending me, you're just rubbing me off. But I have to add the trees in the background, and I kind of want it to be more muted if possible, but I have to do the leaves first, so here we go. Actually, should I do orange? I think I'll do orange. Fit with the mushrooms, you know? Mushroom. It's a mushroom. I'm gonna add better oranges, but gotta start with the classic, you know? Okay, that's gonna be good. And then we'll add the lighter, like, goldenrod color to make it look actually like orange, you know? And then we'll add in like a more red color, you know? You know? Because this makes it look like a more golden orange, because, you know, it's goldenrod, whatever. And then we have, so there's that, and then I will do the, like, darker orangish red color to add the highlights into some places, or at least shadows, maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna add good difference in color, so it should look fine. I started rewatching Adventure Time recently, and oh my gosh, that show is so iconic that I can remember every single episode within the first season. Like, I finished watching the first season, and I'm like, I remember every time when they, like, showed the title and the intro card and, like, that little sketch, and I'm like, I know what this is about, and then I enjoyed it, and like, it kept going. So on every single episode in, like, the 20 episode season, I was able to recognize each episode, and I think that shows just how iconic Adventure Time is, or maybe just how much I've watched that first season, because I guarantee I cannot do it with the second season. I might be able to spot, like, half of them, but not every single one. But, like, it just kind of amazed me, because I thought there would be, like, at least, like, 2 that I wouldn't remember, and then I'd get to enjoy again. No. Everything in the first season I remember. I was even able to point out the little snail in, like, half the episodes, so that was fun. So I think for this one, we're gonna stick with that brown, because that's the one we used last time. So I think we're gonna go with this one, and we're just gonna, like, give the mushrooms some space. So, like, there's gonna be a little bit of space, like, just white space in between, you know, kind of like that, so you can see the mushrooms better. And then we'll add the darker bit in, and it should be fine. It should look like a tree. Hopefully. I think I'm gonna need to blend with the color I used, because otherwise it does not look like a tree. I don't think it's gonna look very muted, but honestly I'm fine with that, because I think it's looking fantastic at the moment. I mean, I still gotta add some things, but I mean, here we are. It's looking fine. So, I think that is our mushroom. Now I'm gonna add the red lettering, and then I think we'll be done with the mushroom, and we can move on to the mosaic plant, which is by far the most infuriating thing I've done. Like, I know I keep complaining about it, but I can't stress enough just how long I had to research in order to find anything that wasn't just, like, a random leaf that looked like a diamond. Like, seriously, it was so hard. And then, like, finding anything that, like, matched up and anything that I could draw. It was really difficult. Hopefully, if I ever... Like, I'm kind of hoping that in the future I can, like, redo this project and, like, do it again, you know? So I can have, like, a before and after type thing where I'm like, oh yeah, like maybe I'll go to like an actual art school in the future, and it'll be like, oh yeah, before art school, after art school, and I'll do like just a fun comparison. I'm kind of hoping to do that someday with these, because I know that this isn't like the best work, because you know I had to split all of my time and effort between 56 cards over like a 2-month period, but I mean, I'm liking how they turned out, and I hope that future me does too. So here we have the finished product of the mushrooms, which I'm quite happy with. So now we get to move on to the mosaic plant, and for this one I have to do fresh water, so I am going to be doing just like little scribbles in the water for the plant. So nothing too distinguishable, because oh my gosh, is that Jesus. Oh my gosh, that plant is a menace. just for drawing, I like at the start of this project I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is great, because I only had to draw like 2 leaves. Now it's terrible. The further in that I got, the more and more that I hate that plant. But it's still like iconic in a way. Like I still love it because it's part of this set, but like individually this plant is a menace. So I think I'm gonna start with the actual plant for once, and I want this one to be more of like a tealy color. So I want, I think this one? Yeah, because it looks kind of green and kind of blue, because, I don't know, it's a freshwater plant. For this one, I did a waterfall in the background just to have that vertical space, because this is, you know, a vertical a portrait card, so I have to fill up the vertical space, and I do not have much of that if it's a mosaic plant. So I think for this one, we're gonna do grass green, maybe? Just do it at the bottom. I think that's fine. Yeah, okay. And then we can do the water, and I think I want this one to be a little bit murky. So I think we'll actually just like do a light dusting of what we used for the plant. Like a very, very light dusting, okay? And then we'll go back in with an actual blue, so it has kind of like a green tint. I used this on my duck before because I don't have any like good murky water, so I used a mixture of a green, a brown, and a blue, and it looked pretty fun. Again, I wasn't super good at background, so I didn't actually end up winning anything, but my friend won something, and she was like, I'm never gonna use this bird book, you have it. And I'm like, heck yeah, I get pictures of birds. So I have this little booklet from a contest that I didn't even win. It's kind of fun. So I think, okay, I'm gonna do like just a bit of this, and then I'm going to blend it with white, so hopefully it looks lighter, because I don't actually want it to be like that. Oh, I'm liking that. Okay. Okay, this is great. We're gonna have to pop out the plant more, but I'm liking the water. Maybe we'll just go in with more of this, and then go in with the dark green again. I think that should work pretty well. At least for now, at least. Maybe we'll just like circularize. That was nonsense. We'll do that so it's kind of circular around the plant, so it kind of pops out. You know, just that. Because, I don't know, it's a plant on water. You don't want to be seen. Or maybe, I guess, it's a plant, so its aim is to look like vegetation, so it doesn't get eaten? I'm not sure. But I want to do a little bit of green, like lighter green, around the edges, because, I don't know, it's freshwater. You probably have, like, reeds or something over there. Actually, that's a really good idea. That's a little bit swampy. I mean, but all of these, I have like so many mixed ideas right here. Like I have a waterfall, I have a lake, I have some mosaic plants, because that's the point of this. I have some, apparently, reeds. Here we are. So I think, honestly, this should work fine. I just wanted something to differ in the vertical space. Like, it's really hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm kind of figuring out what I'm doing. It's tricky. It's tricky, you know? And I think after this, I'm going to go in with my white gel pen and kind of add, like, the little clouds at, like, the sploosh at the bottom. Because, that's pretty neat, I guess. I am gonna blend this. Hopefully it works fine. Yeah, I like this. So I'm gonna add the little cloud at the bottom there, like last after I do the lettering, and then right now I just do the cliff. Now I don't want it to smear too much, so I want to do colored pencil. But the thing is I only have one gray colored pencil. And it is this one, and it is silver. So I think we're gonna have to do, either we could do that or we could do brown, but I feel like brown is more dirt. So maybe I could do dirt at the top, and then like have it blend down into gray. That could be easier. I like that idea. So we can have dirt at the top, and that also means I can put more plants up there. And then we'll do a little bit of vegetation. And then we'll add some plants in a second. But we want to do the gray. Actually, we'll have this kind of like hitter out. And then we'll add in the gray, and then we can blend it. Or maybe we'll just leave it rocky, who knows. I think we'll blend where it's blending, and then like we'll blend the entire thing, and then we'll go back in and add some more texture. That's kind of what I like to do, because then you get that nice solid color, and then you get the details on top of it. It's nice. It's nice. I'm liking that though. That's pretty cool. Yes, I like this. I like this a lot. This makes me happy. So I think for the top I'll just add like little bits. Little grassy bits, and that's all. 'Cause I don't want too much up there, you know. We have our focus, and that's down at the bottom. So I think, yeah, I think I like this one. I'm gonna grab my gel pen, and I'm gonna hope that this one works. Because I have multiple, but like, I want this one to work, because this one's been fine. Okay, cool, that one is not working. So we're gonna go, maybe, I don't want to use that one because that one sucks. Maybe I'm gonna try using one of my others. Hopefully, not that one. I need a fine tip, baby. I have these ones which are oil based, which big surprise, they bleed through water, and they also smell. They smell kind of like spray paint. Just from what I've seen and or smelled, I guess. So like it kind of sucks, but like maybe if I'm like lucky here, it won't exactly bleed through, and we can like get clouds here, or like kind of a poof. Okay. I think having 2 layers in between it and the paper makes it so it doesn't bleed through as much. because it would just kind of, when you put it on the paper, it would be like white for a second, and then all of the ink would seep into the paper, and then it would just be wet. And it was just a mess. So hopefully that works. We're gonna see, and we're gonna give it this. Yes. So hopefully that works fine. And with it, its title, and then it's done. And then we can move on to watercolor, which is fun. And actually worked surprisingly well if I don't add too much water. Because, I mean, obviously the more water there is, the more likely it is to bleed through. But, like, if I don't add too much, it works out fine. But I am wanting to make it opaque, so it's going to be a balancing act. But I think that turned out good. We're going to go... Okay. I think I'm just real quick, I'm going to grab this and we're gonna see if we can define this a little bit more, just like a little bit. Whew, jeez. Okay, don't touch the oil-based white that I have. It's kind of sticky, but here we go. I'm liking this. I think it turned out really well, and I'm gonna actually, you know what? Yeah, we can show all four. I don't know why I put them underneath. They need to dry. Why didn't I put them on top? Anyway, there we go. All four. And I'm really liking these. I'm so glad that I found this this idea again. Because for a while there, I did not know what I was doing. And I think they're pretty defined each, and I really like that. So, here we go. There's all four. I'm loving them. Now, what I'm going to do... Okay, is I have all the watercolor stuff, but I also have colored pencils out right now. So I am going to, I have things. I'm going to put these on top. I'm going to stack them. Okay, there's, so many things. Okay, we're going to move these into a pile and put them aside. I'll show them off later when I'm done with all of them. And we're going to put all the colored pencils away. And then we can get the watercolor out. Luckily, watercolor doesn't take up as much space. It's just the colored pencils that take up like 2 square yards. It's so much. So I think... Yep, okay. So, we have brushes, we have paint, we have a testing card, and we also have our water, which I keep in a pill bottle because it's actually really good for it. Like, I just open it up carefully and hopefully don't spill. Like, that's the only issue. And then, like, it's fine, and also it's short enough that I can comfortably dip my tiny little brush in it, and also it's sealable, so it doesn't actually leak. It's great. I've shooken it up and down over paper, and nothing. So I have this tiny little like brush because this is meant to be a pocket set, but it's also my only good good set of watercolors. And it's just like a tiny little bitty brush, and it just boop, and then it's fine. So I'm gonna put that away for a second, and we're just going to go. I also have like a little bit of paper towel above so I can dry things off if needed. But I have these brushes, which I probably won't use the bigger ones, but I'll use like the smaller ones for, I don't know, stuff. But what I'm going to do with these is I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do all of the edges. And then while the edges are drying, wait, no. We're going to do the clover first because clover is easiest. Or at least in this case. So what we're going to do is we're going to erase all the pencil lines. And then we're going to do the lightest colors first. You always want to work lightest to darkest with watercolor. And I'm specifically trying to get the word off because I need to do a little bit smaller to match the others because the others are really long. So I'm going to do the frame first. The frame and the label. That's what it's called. I'm going to do the frame and the label. And then I am going to work on the plant. It's actually... I don't know. we just kind of gotta go for it. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually test first, because I need to find out what colors I need, and I have to like be really careful, because on some of the colors, like with the bleeding heart, I need to get a really light pink, and I only have reds, so I need to tone it down a bit, and that's kind of what that is, because I just added a lot more water. And luckily it only warps the back just a little bit, but it doesn't bleed through. See? This one just has a little bit of paint on the back, but like there's a little dent right there. That's just where the water was. So luckily it won't warp it too much, I don't think, hopefully, when the entire thing is covered in it. And then after that, I think we'll go in with a pen and add the lines for the frame and the label. So I know that this looks blank right now, but I can still see all of the lines. So it's like it's just light enough. So I think for this, we're gonna go with the frame being like a darker brown. So like maybe that as its base. I feel like that could be nice. Like that right there. It's just kind of fun to play with, honestly. And then if we need to, we can add in like this darker color, or slightly darker. And I wonder if I just add a bunch of dots, I wonder how it'll dry. So I'm gonna do that. And then we're gonna get our palette out for the clover, and I also guess the mosaic plant. We'll just do both of them. So I think for the clover, I want, actually wait, the mosaic plant could be a little bit dimmer, I guess. But for the clover, I want a really light green. Okay, I want a really light green for the clover, and then I want to go in with a more prominent green and add in a little bit color. So it's actually the same green, but with different amounts of ink on it. I know it's itty bitty, but that's what I was thinking for the clover. So hopefully that works fine. And then if I need to, I can like dry it off and then dry brush it and blend it. Which, I mean, it helps a little bit, but not too much. I honestly haven't learned many things about watercolor. Like, I've learned it in theory, but I haven't practiced it, you know? So I think that's going to work for the clover, and I think for the label, I'm just going to do a very light dusting of this. Now, honestly, I need to like have less on the brush, but also I need to have enough that it actually shows, you know? But it's a very, like, it would look old, you know? And I think that would look fine. Again, on this test card, I don't have much space, but that right there is what I was thinking for the label, that for the frame, that for the clover. So I think that's gonna work fine. And honestly, this is my favorite brush, because it's the first brush I've had that hasn't had icky plastic stuck to the bristle. And so, like, on all of my other brushes, like in that little pack I showed, they all had plastic on them, and it's so hard to paint with them because like some of them have like tiny little bristles that are like slightly longer, and I'm like, I hate you. That's just, I don't like those brushes. They're kind of cheap too, so it doesn't help. But this one came with the set of watercolor, and oh my gosh, it's my favorite thing on earth. That's why I got the water in the pill bottle, because like I was reaching over a cup and then dipping down into it like a typewriter, I guess. And so like it was just a hassle. But I think we're gonna do the clover. We're gonna try. We're gonna try, okay? So I think I'm very nervous of actually doing this, because if I mess up, then I don't have a replacement card, which is an issue. But I mean, here we are, and we're gonna hope for the best. So we're gonna have more ink in the center, and then it kind of like spreads out, I guess. And then hopefully when it's like dry over the first coat, I can go in and add in like a line for the middle, because I want there to be like a separation, you know, because I just think that would be nice. it. It's looking interesting. I think that was a bit too much, so we're gonna just do that, and then we'll go boop. So I think that's fine, and then we're gonna go with the stem. We're just gonna drag that down and we're gonna be fine. I want it to look kind of pale, so it should be fine. Maybe I just need to like let it be. I say that and I keep working on it. Okay, so we have this so far, which is nice. It's pale. We're gonna let it dry and we're gonna do the label, and then we can let that dry, go back to the clover, do the frame. That's what I'm planning, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get just a little bit of that yellow I mentioned, and we're going to space it out over the entire label, so that hopefully we don't actually have to take any off. So it's just like a yellowed label like that, you know? Kind of nice. It's a bit hard to get lighter than that and yet have any color at all, so we're gonna go with that. It's gonna be fine. And I think if we start at the top and we work down with the frame, I think we'll be fine and we can actually do the frame now. Now this one requires a lot more ink because I actually want a darker brown. I talk like I know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of winging it and hoping for the best, but I know like the basic principles of it, you know? It's like, oh yeah, more water means more opaque, like all that stuff. And so I just kind of talk like I know what I'm doing and hope that it sounds fine. Because you know what? If you talk with confidence that you know what you're doing, then maybe one day you will know what you're doing. And that's how I hope it'll go for me. So I'm just instilling confidence in all of you guys to bullcrap until you get it right. Because that's what I'm doing here. So I think... Oops. Okay, cool. I am not the best with watercolor, as you have probably seen. I cannot get a straight line, no matter if I want it or not. It's either I get a straight line when I'm not aiming for it, or I get the most crooked line when I am trying. It's a hassle, you know. But here we are. Here we are, and I'm trying to paint a frame and kind of failing, but it's fine. I think it'll look fine in the end. I'll figure it out. I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's a fine frame. So there's that. I think for that side we also need that. Okay, so I think that's gonna be fine. I'm gonna add just a little bit of like lines and such of darkerness, I guess, to make it look like a wooden frame. Because hopefully that'll help. But I think that is gonna be fine. I mean, it's a bit splotchy around the edges, but hopefully once I add the black in, because I'm actually going to do a black outline for the only time in these cards, hopefully once I do that, it'll be fine. But I'm actually, right now, we're going to finish all the watercolor and then we're going to do the inking. So we're going to wait on all of the names. But for now, I think, yeah, we're going to go back to the clover, and we're going to have just, like, just a little bit, and we're going to do the center, and it's going to be, like, hardly water, And then we're going to draw it out for a line. So I can have those lines in the middle so that it's kind of geometric. I love how I went, oh yeah, watercolor, perfect thing for geometric. When I could have easily done that with like pen and ink or something. But oh well, it works. I have my reasoning behind it. It isn't much of a stained glass window anymore. It's more of like, you know, a framed picture. But I'm liking the way it's going. I'm rolling with the hits. And here we are with a clover that looks interesting. So we have that. I am actually going to space them out. So like this one will be in that corner. And then we're going to go like that. I'm just going to do that all right now. And then we can put them where they belong in a second. Okay, so for I'm going to do the mosaic plant just because it has a similar palette. And then we can work on the other two, which have extremely different palettes. Okay, so again, we want to go over it and get as much pencil as we can out because, oh my gosh, I do not want pencil bleeding into my watercolors today. No thank you. I learned that lesson a long time ago and I do not intend to learn it again. At one point when I was like being introduced to watercolor, I did not erase my pencil marks and it all bled and I was so sad. I was like so sad that my drawing was ruined because I did not erase the pencil lines. So here I am, not making that mistake again. I swear on my cold dead body, I will never forget to erase my pencil lines in a watercolor drawing again. Like, no thank you. So I think for this one, I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to go in with all of this. And this one is interesting because it's very much harder to see the lines. But it's interesting. It's fun, you know? It's more of like blobs. It's just like, oh yeah, there's probably supposed to be color there. It's an adventure. And I'm probably gonna end up like regretting all of my decisions in a minute. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm learning, you know? There's just a lot of little leaves that need to be painted. And none of them connect to each other other than the middle. Ah. Regrets. Okay, but here we are. We're like halfway done. Fun times. Just painting a bunch of tiny leaves that aren't gonna get much texture. Because, oh man, am I not texturing these. Again, this mosaic plant is a menace. Okay, but we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere, my dudes. My dudes. Okay, so I think if I just do that, it should be fine. Everything is fine. I'm just slowly making my way around, hoping that I don't forget to do a leaf. Because if I do forget, I'm not going to be able to find it. Okay, so I literally just need a tiny bit, bud. Like, please. I just need like 2 more leaves done. Okay, so, well, that was an interesting ride. I do not want to add detail, but we are going to in the middle. We're gonna in the middle, but that's all, I swear. So we're gonna just grab that, and we're gonna... just add some darker bits. Hopefully dividing up the leaves once it dries. And hopefully that looks fine. So it's less of a star in the middle and more like 5 leaves. But I forgot. Yep, I knew I had forgotten one. Okay. So, probably looks fine. We're gonna see how it turns out in a second. However, we do get to do another label. Hopefully this one turns out as good as the last one, because I really liked that last one. But this one also, it looks a little bit lighter, which I'm liking. But yes, I like that. It's very, very light, which hopefully means that it looks like just a little bit aged. And now we get to do the frame. Are we all cheering? Because it took me forever on the last one. Hopefully it's a little bit easier this time. It's just going to be a mess. Because man, oh man, am I not good at straight lines. Okay, so hopefully this works out. I've got 2 of the sides mostly done. Mostly? Probably? Maybe? Question mark? It's, I'll probably go back in and add things later, but for now it's done, you know? There's, like, varying amounts of ink on this page right now. Some bits are extremely dark, like the one I'm working on, and I need water. And the other bits are like, oh, I'm so light you can't see me. And I'm like, you bastard, I need to. And again, the straight line problem just doesn't exist, because I can't be straight. I can't be straight with any of you. Can't give you straight answers. I can't be straight myself. Fun times, fun times. I think... Dang. These frames are hard. Honestly, if it's a little bit streaky, I don't think I mind. Like, I mean, the other one, just fine. I did fine on that one. And I think this one is, like, kind of the same way. I do not mind. Like, if it's just, like... a little bit streaky, I do not care, because I don't know, it adds like wood texture. I was about to say flavor, but I don't think it does because it's paint. Fun times. Okay, I think that's fine. I'm gonna make sure that the mosaic plant is fine, and then we're gonna see if it's done. I mean, granted, we still do have to go in and add the inking, but other than that, I think it's fine. This poor brush, the only one I use. Okay, so I'm liking that. I think that it's at least a good mosaic plant, and once I add in the inking, it's gonna look complete. So there we have that, and I think what I want to do next is the mushroom, just because that's the first one where I'm actually working with more than 2 colors. I mean, the bleeding heart has like 3, so yeah, I want to do that one last. But I think for this one, I need to do red for the cap, and then I'll just do white over that, like after, because it's so much easier to get like a good white bit, like after it's all dry. Like, keeping the paper from being white, very hard. Adding white on top, 10 out of 10. So I think for this one, I want to test. So I want to do the same thing I do for the label for the stem, but I want to add like just a little bit more ink on top, like in the color, because so it'll be more vibrant, and then I want to add lines and stuff on top of that with like a darker color, like of a brown or something. Okay. Now for the cap, I think I'm just gonna do like a standard red. Now I think I'm gonna do my lighter one and then add a darker one on top, or maybe I'll just do different vibrancies. I'm not sure. So I think, yeah, we're just gonna go in with the kneaded eraser again to try and erase as much as we can. I need to learn how to draw a lighter because, oh my gosh, is it a hassle. It's a hassle. I can still read the word mushroom. That's how much of a hassle it is. I shouldn't be able to read that. Then again, it does make copying it down easier, so I guess I shouldn't complain. But I mean, here we are. Okay. Okay. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the stem first. So we're gonna do the same thing as the label. So we're gonna actually do the label first because that's so much easier. Oh, that was way too much. Fun. Alright, well, hopefully that's gonna be fine. Whoopsies. Okay, so for the stem, I want to light it at first. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna spread it out throughout the entire thing. And I'm also including the part above it too. And then I will add the extra on top of it. So we're actually going to let that dry for a second, get our mushroom color all figured out, and then we're gonna do things. So I think we're gonna do this one. Okay, now it looks kind of pinkish. However, if I add more, then it starts looking more red. So I think I'll just do like that. So I think that is that color, so it's gonna be fine. I think I'll do that, and then I will add darker consistencies over it. Should be good. I did not mean to say consistency. Oh well, it's fine. It's all good. So I think I'm just going to do that right now. I think if I just go like that, it's gonna look very, very light at first. Kind of a bummer, but we'll fix it, so. Okay, so I think this should be good enough for at least vibrancy, maybe? Vibrancy of the first coat. Because I do want... Okay, cool. This is just dissolving into a big lumpy mess. It's fine. It's okay. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to finish the stem, and then we are going to finish the cap. Okay, those were the words I was looking for. So, I want to do that same color, but like darker, you know? So I'm just gonna get more ink, and then we are going to go in, and we're just gonna add like some lines. And then hopefully that dries fine. So I'm liking that. I think that's good. It's a bit it's interesting, you know? It's not what I was aiming for, but you know what? We're gonna roll with it. I think that's fine. And I think that cap is still drying, so we're gonna do the frame first, which is always a journey, as we saw from the last two times. Because I cannot do a straight line again. I just can't. Every time I try, it just gets significantly more wobbly. So we're gonna do this one, maybe? Sure, that's fine. Okay. This frame has been nerve-wracking because I keep like accidentally moving it, and I'm like, oh gosh, I just screwed up, didn't I? And then I look and I'm like, I didn't screw up. It's fine. I need to chill. Okay, so I think that's fine. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go in again and add like little bits. Then we're gonna blend. But I think specifically right here, because that needs the darkness. But I think other than that, we good. We're good, my dudes. Alright, so we have that. We are going to... We're just gonna... Oops. Okay. We're gonna go in, and we're going to... With pure color, as like little water as we can get, and we're just going to do that. Hopefully adding this little outline helps. Because right now it just looks like a blob, but you know what? It's working. It's doing its thing. Trust the process. Trust the process, little mushroom. Okay, so... Okay, so we have this. And I'm liking that. I think we're gonna actually just go... Actually, I should put that on something solid so I can actually paint. We're gonna do that, and I think that looks fine. So we're gonna put that to the side. We're going to let it dry completely, and then we are going to add the little white spots onto it. Like about the same time that we do the inking. So for now, that's done. We're gonna work on the bleeding heart. Now for this one, I'm going to use this other red, which when I put on this, it looks like kind of orangish. But I think if we mix it... What did I mix it with? Good. Why does it look orangish? Maybe it was just this one, but super watered down? Like, really watered down? Ooh, geez. Okay, it was that one, but super watered down. So we're probably... I think it was actually those two mixed. I figured it out. Okay, so we're going to draw off the brush so we can actually do that properly. But, first step, erase. We need to erase things. Okay, yes. I'm honestly surprised that all of the names fit on those little things, because I was sure that bleeding heart and mosaic plant, since they are 2 words each, they would not fit, but I did it, guys. I figured it out. So I think for this one, what we're gonna do first is we're going to add a very, very light... Okay, cool, that's not very light, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna add a light layer of this red, which is the red that we did not use for the mushroom, and then we're going to add a light layer of the one that we used for the mushroom on top of it, because apparently those two mixed equal what I want. It's like a nice pink. It's kind of like a cream pink in a way, and then I'll probably just add like a little bit on top of that to make it like nice. But I think what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna bring some of this over, because I forgot that existed. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Now we're gonna do the same thing that we did for the mushroom stem. We're gonna do that for the little dangly bit on the bleeding heart, but we need to let the bleeding heart dry first. So we're gonna do the label, and then probably the frame, and then probably the actual bit. think that's fine. Now onto the frame. I'm really liking how that pink turned out. I think it turned out great. So I think this is gonna turn out great. I'm very happy. I'm very excited to get to the point where we can ink things, because oh man, it's gonna look so fancy. Hopefully, I hope that it looks fancy, because I have strayed from my stained glass idea, but I have stuck with the watercolor idea, so I think that's a good sign. And I mean, the watercolor's been working out fine, so here we are. A lot, and I think we're gonna add just a little bit up here, and then we're gonna be fine and dandy for starting on the little dangly bit and doing the accents on the main flower. Okay, so this is it so far. Okay, we have that. I'm liking that pink. I think I need to do that a little bit, because I do not like that thing that watercolor does. I did not like it in that situation. So we're gonna... Oh, that's a bit much. Okay, we're going to very, very lightly. Oh, fun. Okay. Get that to be the handle, a pestle. I don't remember what that is for flowers. I know I learned it at some point in like years ago in science, but that, I don't know. It's what holds the pollen, I think. It's like the male part of the plant, and I only know that for this case because I actually picked up a bleeding heart and it got pollen all over me, and I'm like, bud, please, you chill out. I'm going to add just a little bit of green at the top for a stem. I think that's pretty neat. And also it's kind of nice. And then for those bits, we're gonna try my hand at doing that. So we're gonna try that. I don't actually like it looking like it's not blended in, so we're gonna try blending it. However, I'm liking how it looks. I'm liking it. Kinda nice. Okay, and now I think we're gonna go back in with some water and blend that middle bit in. And then on the sides as well. But overall, I think that is good. There we go. We have our bleeding heart. And that means that we get to get started on the inking for all of those, which just in time. I finished them all. We don't have time to work on the one extra card I have, so maybe I'll just do that off camera, and then, not next week, but when I come back, the next time I stream, I can show you all. And then I can also show you the pretty box that I have for it. It's gonna be a bit big, but it has some room, so... Okay, so we're gonna do the inking, and then I'll do all the end of stream stuff. We're gonna start with this one, and I think I want to start with I want to do a really, really fine tip for the edges, because I do not want the black to be super prevalent. So what we're gonna do is hopefully not drop stuff and grab this. So This is like a calligraphy set that I got. I have not used it for calligraphy hardly at all, but I do have fancy pens, so I think... okay. Those ones are chisel tip. I do not use chisel tip, like, at all. Also, 3 is big. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab, I think, the extra small. Yeah, it's a... I think... Ooh, that does not work good. Is there just a bullet point? Because that's all I want. I want, like, a consistent thing, you know? I mean, we have the brush. But also... Ooh, that's actually quite good. I like that. Okay, we're gonna try that. Okay. We're gonna try that. We are going to do it very lightly. Because I do not want it to take up too much. And then I am going to write clover just a bit smaller than I did before. And then we are going to do the frame. And hopefully that does it nicely. Hopefully, we're hoping here. We are not going to be doing any line art on that watercolor because I did that watercolor myself, and it looked great, fine and dandy. So, hopefully, this doesn't look like too out of place. Because I have not done line art on like any of these. I've just done line art on like a few occasions on the mushroom stems when I couldn't tell them apart. So I did that, but like in all honesty, I haven't done line art. I've just done color. It's been kind of nice. Okay, so that clover is officially done. There we go. Applause, applause. I bow. I did it. And that does mean that all the clover pictures are done. And I think, yeah, I'll just do the mosaic plant next and we'll continue on. Because I am finishing these today. I am not ending until I have finished all of these. I do have some off-camera work to do, but other than that, we're all done after today. And that's the end of this project. I've been working on this for like, what, 2 months? Excluding the break that I took. But here we are. And I'm so glad that we finally finished this. Because I mean, although it was quite fun, I am very excited to start on something new. I didn't think that the brush tip would work as well as it does for this. I mean, it's a bit uneven, but... Okay, so I need to do this itty bitty. Okay. I'm spelling it correctly. Everything is going fine. I'm like trying not to shake. Okay. And that is the mosaic plant. All done. I'm actually really liking the frame. Like, the frame looks kind of realistic, and then we have the picture in the middle. It's interesting. It's a different take on it. So we have that. Now I'm going to do the mushroom, and actually, first of all, before doing any of that, we are going to actually get a chisel tip out for once in my life. Hopefully this isn't too big. We're going to try this, okay? Now, we're going to do things like that, because I want it to be very geometrical. So hopefully that works. And I'm liking that. That's also very fast. Which means that we can start on the line art. It's remarkable how with watercolors I could not do a straight line, and yet I've been able to do straight lines with this. That just shows how much better I am with markers. Or how much more used to them I am. Even though I'm not used to writing normal letters with a brush tip. I think I've been managing. Because there we go. There, mushroom. But I've got my frame still. But I still can't touch those little bit white bits, so maybe I should have done that last. Okay, it's all good. It's all good. I'm happy with how the frames have turned out. I didn't actually, like, full-heartedly believe that they were going to turn out good. I was very worried. But, here we go. There's the mushroom. It's a bit wonky. It's off to the side a bit. Definitely the worst mushroom that I've drawn out of the bunch, but then again, I love my other mushrooms. It's, I guess, just a different style. But, there we go. There's the mushroom. And, last but not least, our bleeding heart. And I really like how that bleeding heart actually looks. Like, I really like how it looks. I'm going to actually take this out back again really quick and then add just a little shine to it, you know? Like, it's glistening. Glistening. Such a fun word. Granted, the lines that I've been doing for this frame aren't very straight, but it helps that it's a wooden frame, or at least it's supposed to, and so it isn't actually, like, supposed to be straight, because it's pieces of wood. Granted, it looks better in real life if it's actually straight, but, screw it, it's art. We're here for the fun experiences and the trying to make a wooden frame look good. So there's that, and then I'll do the word, which I think this one's the hardest because it's the longest. But I think I'm handling it fine. Okay, this is good. Sometimes when I'm, like, really nervous about fitting things in, I do it backwards, because sometimes when I'm writing it forwards, I end up taking up too much space, and then I cut it off. But, here we are. Here's our bleeding heart. Here's all of the ones that we have done today. I'll do them in sets and I'll put them on here. But first of all, I'm going to put the water away because I tend to knock that over. But I have sketched today. I have done all of these cards today. And most importantly, we have completed our deck of cards. Not fully. I still have some behind the scenes work to do. I gotta like finish all the edges and stuff. But all of the pictures in the middle, completely done. Now, I do have some things to talk about, but first of all, I want to show off all these cards. So I am going to, I think I'll do these ones first. So these, for the jacks, I did biomes or habitats. And so I did the freshwater in the meadow for the clover in the mosaic plant. Then I did the forests for the bleeding heart and the mushroom, which I think they turned out pretty well, at least. I did specifically fall for the deciduous forest, because the deciduous forests are known to like have all of the seasons and such. And then I did for the kings, I was originally going for the stained glass look, but when doing that, I went, a frame would be really cute, and then I added all this stuff, and I kind of deviated from it, but it ended up being fun, and also it kind of looks nice. 2 different styles meshed in one, which is interesting. So I have those, and then I have the bleeding heart and mushroom, which, again, this mushroom isn't my favorite one that I've drawn out of the bunches, but I've drawn a lot of mushrooms, and I think I deserved to let go a little bit and just, like, have fun. So, there we go. There's those. And we completed our deck of cards. All the pictures are done. This is the last stream that I'm actually working on it. I won't be doing any more on camera. I'm gonna finish it off, like, just in my own time, probably tonight, actually. And then I'm gonna put it in a fancy box, and then it's gonna be on a shelf. Maybe I'll learn some card games to play with it, who knows. But next time, I promise I'll show it off when it's, like, completely done. Hopefully I will have pressed these cards so that they're kind of flat, you know. So I'm actually, when they're all, like, completely done and dry, I'm going to smoosh them between two heavy books. like that. So hopefully it flattens out a little bit, because right now it's very much, you know, not flat. Not a deck of cards, just paper. I might laminate them, not sure. It would help with the preservation of them. But we're done. We did it. Now, again, the next 2 weeks, okay, I am taking a required class for what I'm doing. So I will not be able to stream, because as I was scheduling it, I looked at the time it was, and it was the exact time period that I plan on streaming. So for the next 2 weeks, I am not able to do that. I apologize, but it gives me some time to refresh. I know I just took a break, but this one is required for me. I have to do this class in order to achieve what I'm doing. So I have to take it. I'm gonna be gone. But I promise that when I come back, I think it will be on... Actually, it will be on July 7th. When I come back, I will show off this deck again, and then we will start on something brand new and fun. Not sure what that is yet, but over these next 2 weeks, I will be brainstorming and figuring it out, okay? So, I hope you all have a good night, or a good day, wherever you happen to may be. And I will see you in 3 weeks. Goodbye.